Oh, Mata.
We're live on YouTube, guys. I'm gonna be famous. Sanjeevni, I feel you now.
I know. It's amazing. Feel the vibe.
I know. I have another YouTuber here as well with me, Mrignan. Okay, we've crossed 100.
Just started YouTubing, so not yet a YouTuber.
No, I'm not even close.
Such a
Okay,
pain, like
guys.
adjusting.
Since everyone is here, I wouldn't want to waste your time. I would definitely want to tell us what Rotary Club of New Bombay is. Rotary Club of New Bombay has been a club, one of the oldest clubs in District 3142. We've been there in Rotary for 38 years now. We've just completed 38 years in February. We are happy that we got such a great response from you guys. We have almost 300 plus registrations from this for Aatmanirbhar BOD. And we're really thankful for all of you and the great support that you've shown us. Maya and Sanchit are really excited to get on with your show, but we'll just wait for everyone to join us so that nobody misses the show that they have sold or that they have got the ticket for. It's great seeing the numbers go up.
Guys, again, I would like request please be on mute because there are noises coming from. Like, if you want to say something, you can unmute yourself and say it. But
I request all the co-hosts and hosts to please make sure you have muted all the people in the meeting.
Sammy, your voice isn't clear. You have to speak louder.
yeah.
I request all the co-hosts to mute all the people as they join in.
Okay? Yes.
You get an option to mute all over there.
Hello, Simran. Is my voice audible?
Yes, it's clear right now.
Yes.
Great.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Rotary Sami Sayed. Soon we have already started our live live streaming on YouTube also through our WhatsApp group. If you are facing any connection on Zoom, you can also join the YouTube live streaming. Soon you will be getting a link for YouTube live streaming on your WhatsApp group. Thank you.
Guys, we will be starting at the exact time that we had mentioned. That's 5:30. So we're just gonna wait for 2 more minutes and let the show begin. So just 2 more minutes of patience. And I am really humbled with all the growing numbers. I keep seeing participants ek ek बढ़ रहे हैं and I'm so happy. So thank you all for being a part of it. And I hope that this is exactly what you need. And it will be very helpful and interactive. Just before going ahead, I would like to mention that if you have any queries or any questions, we try and avoid the disruption of flow, and you can just post it in the chat box and we will address it at the end of the presentation. And there are fun activities too during this presentation, so I hope you all take active participation.
while we're waiting at that, everyone can start sending their introductions in the chat box so that we know how many people from which area, from which countries and borders are here. So you all can send in your introductions in the chat box. We'd love to get to know you better.
I know. I'm loving how active our chat box is. Hi, Pritika.
Energy up high.
Hi, Samiksha from Indore.
This is so great. People from all
Oh,
around the world. Seems nice.
that's so great.
How is Ladakh right
Rashmi,
now, by the way?
Mahila. Oh, what? There's someone from Ladakh. Oh my god.
There's someone from Ladakh. I just saw someone from Ladakh. How is Ladakh right now?
That is so cool. I wish I was in Ladakh.
How is
You're a
Modi in
lucky
Ladakh?
person, mate. You're a lucky guy.
What do
Oh.
you mean by cool? It is always cool. But what about the current situation over there?
At least they get to go out. We don't get to go out.
Call, not Sharma.
They're living in fresh air. Our air is so stagnant over here. Gosh.
Oh, Biora from Nigeria. Oh, that's so nice.
I love your name.
I know. Oh. Arzu Jindal. Hi, Arzu. Okay, we are going through all the chats. Okay, so without any further ado, thank you all for coming here. I'm sure you guys have had a very active participation in our groups too. And I hope you all are already aware of our editorial and creative directors who will be taking this seminar. So first of all, thank you very much for being here. And we at Rotary Club of New Bombay are humbled. We are really humbled to have such a response and all the love that we are getting. And oh my God, our chat box is flowing and I can't stop smiling. Look at the stupid grin that I have on my face. So,
We'll go ahead with
huh?
We'll go ahead with the stars of the show today. We would love Sanchit to take over
So I would like to introduce
now. Sanchit, can you hear me?
Sanchit, unmute yourself.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can.
Okay, perfect. So let's start with Sanchit. He's the editorial director and he will help you in expressing your projects with words. So let's go.
Hey everyone, this is Rotractor Sanchit Devlekar from the Rotary Club of New Bombay. I'm editorial director for the year 2021. And I just want to thank you all for joining this initiative. We've received such an overwhelming response and I'm very grateful to each and every one of you. So let's just get into it. Just give me a second. Okay, I hope everyone is able to see my screen. So let's just get into it. Welcome to Aatmanirbhar BOD. I'll just explain for all the non-Indians here what Aatmanirbhar is. Aatmanirbhar basically means to be self-sufficient. And BOD is because this project was initially for board of directors of Rotary Club, but we recognize that it has much more potential. So a lot of non-retractors are also added. The project name was decided, so we decided to keep it. So let's just dive into it. Let's start with the comprehensive editorial process for writing a promotional or PR message. So very first, you should understand the goal of your message. What do you want to convey with your message? Do you want to promote a product or promote an initiative? Do you want to create awareness about something? Do you want to celebrate a day, an international day perhaps? Or, there's an initiative. So that is the goal. You should have a clear goal in mind for your promotion of PR message. Then let's move on to types of messages and predetermined structures. So every kind of different PR message should have a predetermined structure. You shouldn't just start writing. Have a structure in mind. I'll just show you a few examples for that. Let me open my examples. Okay, so these are the types of editorial messages. Okay, I'm getting. Yeah, so these are the types of editorial messages. Let me just enlarge the screen. The first one, like you all must have read this message. This was the promotional message for our Aatmanirbhar BOD. So this is kind of an initiative PR. Then we move on to the celebrity type of messages. Say this one was when the world was celebrating Eid. Akla put out a message to wish everyone happy Eid Mubarak. So as a Rotary Club, as an organization, as a private company, you can do that as well. This was an awareness initiative for World Water Day. So this is one type of PR message, and this one was promotional, where we are promoting a YouTube channel and a certain tutorial video on your YouTube. So you can, in a similar way, write a promotional message for your product as well for all the non-contractors. So let's move on. So the next is construction and how to begin. So your PR message should have a predetermined construct. There should be how, you should know how to begin your PR message, and how to structure it below. What the main body is, how you're gonna present your organization, how you're gonna present your project name, what is the main content of your promotional message, and how you're going to conclude it. And when it comes to how to begin, what I prefer is to usually begin with greetings, like say these kind of PR messages, these are initiatives. So here I've begun with Rotary greetings, normal Rotary greetings. Maybe sometimes you can put some context in here. Let me remove this pop-up. I don't know why this pop-up is coming. I'll just put this to the side. Yeah. So like, because this PR, let me just zoom in. So this PR is for a tech show that we have an upcoming tech show. We'll put the PR in the group as well, so you can join that as well. So here you can see I've written tech side of greetings, like little bit of context. Don't just keep it, generic. Don't keep it generic. And here, this project we had, it was during the monsoons. So I just started with, okay. Yeah, this project, I just started with rainy road track greetings. So this way you can start with a bit of contextual greetings, or again, these are examples of contextual greetings, but let me play the slide. Okay, so these are a bit of contextual greetings. Let's say this was about the video series when we put on quarantine. So I started with quarantine Rotary greetings. This one was about the world against child labor. So I started with a greeting. So you can't see it here, but the greetings say childly Rotary greetings. So a little bit of context for that. This here again, warm Rotary, okay. And the other type of greetings that I use, I'm sorry, I'm having a bit of the issues with the presentation software here. Yeah, so these are the celebratory messages, and here I've started with a greeting. I started with the quote. Quotes are usually very intriguing. They act as clickbait sometimes. So while wishing Eid Mubarak, I searched the internet for a quote regarding Ramadan, and for Happy Doctors Day, I searched a quote regarding doctors. So this is how you can start your PR messages. Another way to start your PR messages, and which really works well, is to start with a statistic or a fact. Like, let's take this one here. Yeah, okay, so sorry, I'm having some difficulties here. Okay, so this PR message regarding Child Labor Day. So I just searched Google for the World Day Against Child Labor. It is held on June 12th. So here I'm setting up the message, like the World Child Day Against Child Labor, which is held every year on June 12th, is intended to foster. I don't know why this is happening, but I apologize for that again. Is intended to foster the worldwide movement against child labor in any of its forms. So this is how you can start. You can also start with the statistic. I'll show that message as well. Okay, so this message. Yeah, so if you can see here, I'll just pull down this message. Yeah, so this was a PR message for International Day Against Drug Traffic and Abusing. So I started with a very alarming statistic. That is, in 2018, 275 million people globally used illicit drugs. And I used like a concerned emoji or shocked emoji. So this kind of acts as clickbait, and then the reader thinks like, okay, let's get to know what this is about. So this is how you can start your PR message. It should be intriguing. It should almost be clickbait. Okay, so let's move on to research. Now, like I said, when you have to start with a quote, or when you have to start with a statistic and all, you have to research a bit. So whenever you're starting writing a PR message, go on Google, research about the topic a bit. Like say if you're celebrating a day, what the day is, why is it celebrated, and you have to set the PR message in that way. So that is about research. You have to go and Google and research about things before writing your PR message. Okay, you can also Google for quotes, statistics, facts, etc. And the best would be Wikipedia. You can lift entire sentences from Wikipedia sometimes. So now let's move on to aesthetics. So again, I'll show you an example here. Let's move on to the very first. Okay, so here you see all these PR messages. Yeah, all these PR messages are very clean looking, very aesthetic. There's no clutter here. I've kept ample of spaces. I've used, bold and sometimes like italic to keep them to keep the message aesthetic. There's minimal use of emoji, not too much. The emojis that I've used are not random. They have context. They have context to the words that they follow or before the words that they are. You can also okay, let's move on to okay, now let's move on to keeping it precise and simple. So these are two very important aspects of your promotional message. They should be precise. precise meaning, you should the message should imply what it's supposed to. The message shouldn't be vague. So I'll show you this example only. Now here in Aatmanirbhar BOD promotional message, we are stating what we are going to do. We are going to hold master classes by who? So by editorial director and creative director, and what we are going to elaborate on, and what approach we will be following. Will be following a step-by-step approach. Will include tricks, shortcuts. So stating all of that, we're not keeping it vague that will have an amazing presentation. You'll be very inspired and all. Don't add these vague things. Keep it clear. The next would be these two PR messages where we sort of have used a Q&A format where maybe after reading the message, the reader would have questions like what is, okay, like here it's about Tech Tuesday. So what are Tech Tuesday? So you answer the message, you answer the question for the reader. Tech Tuesdays are a series of learning. So you use a Q&A format like that. Like why is it, what makes it a tech show? And what tools are we going to use? So we're going to teach Google Forms in that. So what do we get to learn when we learn in Google Forms? So we list that here in a community service initiative where we are asking readers and to participate. We tell them what they have to do and why they have to do it and how they can participate. So we put these simple questions and we answer them, keeping it in a Q&A format. So this makes your PR message very precise. And when I talk about keeping a PR message simple, it means use simple language. Don't use too many complex words. Like don't become a Sashi Tharoor and writing a promotional message for the non-Indian participants. Like don't use very high complex British type of English. Keep it simple, but also don't write it as if it looks like you've given the job to your nephew in third grade. Keep it professional. It should sound professional, but simple to understand. Okay, let's move on. The tone of your message. So this is very important. I'll elaborate a lot on this. Your PR message should have a certain tone. When you're talking about an initiative or a product, it should be neutral. When you're talking about a certain day, you're celebrating the day, so it should be a little joyful or optimistic. Let's see some few examples about that. Okay, so here the first PR message is used a bit of a humor. This was about Father's Day. We're doing an initiative with Breakfast with Dad, where we ask participants to cook breakfast with their fathers and put a selfie on Instagram, and we'll give them a shout out. So I just used a bit of humor in this. So like I've used a quote, I found this one on the internet: Dad, you've always been the coolest. Like all those times you said yes when mom said no. And this main body where I say this Father's Day on Sunday 21st June, make breakfast with your father and give him one less or more reason to be disappointed for, depending on your cooking skills. So you can use a bit of humor, but it should be tasteful, not offensive to someone. Now this initiative about again the against drug abuse and illicit trafficking of drugs. So this is a matter of concern. So when I state the fact that 275 million people are affected by drug abuse, I used sort of a concerned emoji here. Again, this message follows a tone of concern that we call upon you to spearhead this movement by creating a manifesto that empowers the awareness required to combat drug abuse and illicit trafficking. So there's a tone of concern in this message. Here, this PR message where we were starting a new road track year of 2021. I was asked to write a message for all the members of our club. So here I've used a tone of optimism because we wanted to start this year with a positive note. So in this year, I don't have the time to read all of this, but this message follows an optimistic tone. Like if you take a screenshot of this and read. So it follows an optimistic tone. I'll just read the last paragraph, which promotes the optimism. Like, even though this novel Rotaract here has begun on a difficult note, the drive and Rotaract spirit within us remain unaffected. We are highly enthusiastic and eager to take the initiative and lead our club to even greater glory. So there's a hint of optimism here. Now this PR where the tone is a bit joyful. This was in quarantine where we were asking participants to send us their favorite songs based on their moods or genres, and we curate a playlist for them. So this year is joyful tone. We ask them what they have to do, and then we tell them what we will do. We will take a few of those suggestions and curate the most hip and soulful collaborative playlist. So there's a tone of joyfulness here. When I end it with this, it is time to sing away your boredom. Hope you have an amazing time. So there's a tone of joy here. This is a casual PR message. It was about the summers when we always need to beat the heat. So we asked participants to prepare cool beverages and send us pictures of that. So here it's casual message. And then here again, this is kind of an awareness initiative for World War today. Uh, it has to be neutral. There's no two ways about it. Okay, so let's move on. This was about the tone of your message. And finally, we come to the 3 C's of writing a PR message. Concise, clear, and correct. So these are the 3 qualities your promotional PR message has to have. It should be concise. What does that mean? You should use only a limited amount of words, only the precise amount of words necessary to put forth your message. Don't be verbose. Don't use too many words or too many long sentences. Keep the sentences short. The next should be clear. PR message again should be clear. It should convey the meaning exactly to the reader, and the reader should be able to read and understand it there itself. You shouldn't have to, consult a dictionary if there are too many complex words in the PR message. Should be clear. There shouldn't be any vagueness in your PR message. No uncertainty. And the last thing would be correct. So the language in the PR message has to be absolutely correct. There could be no grammatical or any spelling errors. You have to proofread on that. You have to proofread for that. I'll explain that later what that is. Also, while we're talking about correctness, your PR message should be neutral in tone and in aspect. There shouldn't be any controversial statements or any sarcasm in your PR message. So that we are talking about that. Okay, so let's move on. Now we come to tools, tricks, and shortcuts that we use for writing PR messages. So the first would be to where to type and edit. So when it comes to promotional PR messages, the main platform that we use to send these messages is WhatsApp. So I think it is best that you type on WhatsApp only and edit there. You can use a different tool to write. You can use Notepad or Word or anything. But when you move that message to a WhatsApp chat box, the alignment gets haywire. So take care of that. So I prefer that you type on WhatsApp only and edit it there itself. Next, we come to tackling platform errors. Now, what are these platform errors? So the first would be this I've noticed only on Android when I'm typing in a WhatsApp message. Sometimes the Google keyboard or any Android default keyboard that you're using tends to lag a bit and starts crashing a bit. So what you can do is, I just demonstrated here how you can counter that. Just give me a minute. Yeah, okay. So right now I'm projecting my phone to my PC. Okay. So when you're typing in WhatsApp, sometimes when you're typing a very, very long message here, okay, this seems to be some technical difficulties. I'll just explain in short what you have to do. There seems to be some latency issues between my phone and my laptop. I apologize for that. Okay, this is not working. I apologize for that. Again, I apologize for that. So what I meant by that was when the Google keyboard starts to lag, you can just go. Android users know what I'm talking about. You can just go to the Google keyboard or whichever keyboard you're using. You can go to the info page of that keyboard, and if you clear cache and force stop the app, all the lag and crashing that happens, it tends to go away. Other type of tackling platform errors is, I'll have to show and explain that with an example. See, when you're writing a PR message, you don't just have to write it for WhatsApp. You also have to write it sometimes for Instagram and Twitter. So what happens with Instagram and Twitter is that, like, let's say this Aatmanirbhar BOD message. So Instagram doesn't recognize bold or italic, so you can't use that. And when you just copy the WhatsApp message on Instagram, the star and the undersign that comes when you're using for italic, it appears on Instagram, so you have to remove that. Also, spaces you have to take care on Instagram. If you don't give spaces, it just the paragraphs don't get separated and your PR message then gets very cluttered. So you have to take care of that. You can't input any links in Instagram, so here we've just used DMS to register. And you also have to use hashtags in your PR message when you're putting on Instagram or Twitter. So keep hashtags ready for that, for your PR message relating to that. Again, on Twitter, this PR message we've translated to Twitter. So you can see how, again, we've just kept it like Instagram very short, because Twitter only supports 240 characters. So we had to edit a PR message to suit Twitter's character limit. Again, we've used a bit of hashtags, so you have to take care of that. And again, we can't put a link on Twitter, so we asked DMS to register.
Oh shit.
Can everyone please mute themselves?
Sanchit, you're mute.
Sanchit, unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, okay. So when we're talking about proofreading, it's very important that your PR message should be correct. There should be no grammatical errors. So proofreading is a way to assess that your PR message is correct. Proofreading involves reading the PR message thoroughly and looking for any grammatical or spelling errors, as well as any contextual errors. So when you write a PR message, just go through it once, like say, again, so whenever you're writing a long PR message, errors do come sometimes. So what you can do is just read and look for spelling and grammatical errors on your own. There are tools to proofread. I will elaborate on that later. But this is self-proofreading. So you have to check for proper punctuation. You have to check for any contextual inconsistencies. So that is the part of proofreading. Okay, let's move on. Then the last tools or tricks that we use is what to avoid when writing a PR message. So I'll have to explain that with examples. So again, I'll have to switch to my examples. So yeah, now this was the PR message that I wrote for the new road track here. So here I've purposely put some, you know, errors in this PR message. So we are kind of comparing here a good and a bad PR message. So let's see here. Okay, so the first thing to avoid would be tense inconsistencies. I apologize for that. What does that mean? Like this in the good PR message, the tense in of the first paragraph is past tense. For the past year, all of you have worked so hard and in great spirit for the betterment of our Road Track community. And for that, the Road Track community will always be grateful to you. We have had so much fun, so many great experiences in learning and making connections, and we've collected an ocean of money. So the tense here is past. Now here, in this example, I've changed here we are having. So what happens is the first sentence is in past tense, but the second sentence, the first part becomes present tense. We are having so much fun, so many great experiences. And then the last part of this sentence, I just zoom here, and we've collected an ocean of memories. Again, this is in past tense. So you see, there are multiple tenses in this very two lines. So this shouldn't happen. You should take care of that your paragraph, whichever writing, it has to have a consistent tense. It has to be the past, present, or future tense, whatever writing. So keep your tense consistent. Let's come to the second para, where I talk about avoiding improper punctuation. Punctuation is very important. We all know that. So let's see. Road track. Hence, we also look forward to keeping the road track movement in perennial motion as we eagerly start another great road track year. There should be a comma here. It's not in here, so I've marked it red. We wholeheartedly welcome all the new members and appreciate the existing members who are continuing their road track journey. Again, a comma is needed. It isn't in this message. So what happens is when you read this, when you take time to read this paragraph, you'll understand that if you don't put the commas and the semicolons and everything, the vagueness of the message increases. The clarity of the message takes an impact. So that's why improper punctuation, please avoid that. The next would be a controversial statement. This is very important. There should be nothing controversial in your promotional message because you're writing for road track or for your organization. So it shouldn't be. Like here, I've just taken an example. In this paragraph, I talk a bit about the global pandemic that is currently going on. So in this first good example, we see that even though this novel road track here has begun on a difficult note, within the midst of a global pandemic, the drive and road track spirit is within us remain unaffected. Now, in this example, which is very poorly written, even though this novel road track here has begun on a difficult note, within the midst of a global pandemic, thanks to China. That is very controversial. There shouldn't be, elements like this shouldn't be in your PR message. The next would be passive aggressive statements or sarcasm. Your PR message shouldn't be sarcastic. I know we all love sarcasm, but it shouldn't be the case with your PR message. Like when all these three paragraphs I've written, I summarize them in having all of that in our hearts and minds. So having all of this in our hearts and minds, Rotary Club of New Bombay wishes you all a very happy new road track year. Now in this PR message, after all of these paragraphs, the author has written, now that so much has been said. It sounds a bit sarcastic, a little passive aggressive. It sounds like a taunt. So make sure PR message doesn't have this kind of elements. Also, when we are comparing a good and bad PR message, you can see the difference of space using spaces and emojis. Like here, there's no space between this statement and then the code that I've used. It makes it feel a bit cluttered. Here, too many emojis are used, like this lightning emoji at the very start and the very finish. It's not needed. It makes it a bit, tacky. Again, like these too many hearts and this all that. So use one or two emojis at max. So don't use too many emojis. Again, if emojis are repeated, it creates a kind of a tackiness. Also, while we're talking about that, don't repeat your words in sentences. Like I'll show you an example here. We wholeheartedly welcome all the new members and appreciate the existing members who are continuing the road track journey. We wholeheartedly congratulate all BOD. So using wholeheartedly are 2 times. It reduces the sophistication of the PR message. Don't use words. You can use another adjective here, or you can choose not to use at all. So like in this example, I haven't chosen an adjective here. So tend to remember that. Don't repeat your emojis and your words. And also talking about what to avoid inconsistent structure. Like here in this good PR message, our goal is to wish them a happy new road track year. But we have to set up that message. So that's why I've written all of these 3 paragraphs. And then at the end of the message, at the very end, I wish everyone a happy new road track year, so that people get intrigued to read all of this. If you move this up to the very top, you have established, you have implied the role of your PR message here itself, that you are wishing a happy new road track here. So people won't be intrigued to read further what you've written. So make sure that this structure you keep in mind. Use context properly when you're structuring your message. Okay, so let's move on. Uh, okay, so let's move on. So this was about writing a PR message. Now let's move on to blogs, essays, and other editorial content. Again, we come to the goal of your literary piece. Why you're writing a blog or an article, what it wants to imply. Does it want to talk about an initiative? Do you want to give your own opinion? Does it want to talk about? Does it want to imply something that is happening in the world or in the community? So your goal should be predefined. Classification. Now let's differentiate between blogs, articles, and other type of editorial content. So I'll have a few examples regarding that. Not examples. I just have a few points regarding that. Okay, so we are classifying it into 3 categories: a blog, an article or an essay, or a press release or a formal letter. So blog is typically informal. You can use casual language. Article or essay, it has to be a bit formal, semi-formal, or formal. Press release or formal letter, it has to be absolutely formal. It sound professional. A blog is generally an opinion, your own opinion. Articles usually do include opinions, essays do include opinions, but they are very subtle. Press release and formal letters do not require opinions. Blogs require minimal research. Articles require a lot of research when writing an article or an essay. You can't just shoot things in the air. And when you're talking about press release or formal letters, the research required is conditional. Press release don't require research. You just have to say what you're releasing, what your company or organization is going to release. Formal letter, if you're requesting something, it may require a bit of research. So the research is conditional. When it comes to length, blogs are varying length. A blog can be short, it can be very long, it can be very, very long. Articles and essays usually are longer than 300 words. Shorter than that, I wouldn't call it an article really. Press release or formal letter, again, the length is conditional. When it comes to blogs, search engine optimization is necessary because you want a lot of engagement on your blogs. You have to use keywords that the web crawler can understand. And when someone searches for an article on Google, it pops up at the very top. So search engine optimization is necessary. Using keywords is necessary. When writing articles or essays, a few keywords are required. Usually an article or essay is published on some media website, maybe a blog, so maybe a proper blog page. so it wouldn't require search engine optimization. Press release or formal letters, they don't require any keywords. Again, we're talking about writing method. Blogs could be casual. Article sentences have to be sophisticated. Press release and formal letters have to be sophisticated. Okay, so now that we're done with that, let's move on. Again, when we talk about structure, please keep in mind that editorial content like blogs and essays is a bit long. They can't have a proper structure like a PR message. Like when a PR message you're writing, there has to be the introduction. You have to set up a message, then you have to put your organization name, then your project name, then you have to describe the project, then you have to put links and stuff, and then you have to end the message. So that is how a PR message works. Blogs and articles don't require that kind of structure, but you should have somewhat of a temporary structure in mind. How I'm going to begin, how I'm going to write the main body of my literature piece, and how I'm going to end it, Always conclude your literature piece. Don't just leave the reader hanging. Always conclude it. In conclusion, you can provide a bit of summary of your piece. Always conclude it. Then we come on to sentence construction. This is a very broad topic. It's beyond the scope of this tutorial, but I'll explain it in brief. If your article is meant for mass reading, to be read by the general public, keep your sentences short and simple. Again, avoid tense inconsistencies, avoid spelling mistakes, avoid grammatical mistakes, avoid contextual mistakes. So take care of that. Sentence construction is a very broad topic. I can't cover everything. Then we come on to themes to implement. When I talk about themes, the theme of your literary piece is a central idea or a narrative. What the blog or article or the press release is about. So it has to have a central idea, and it should follow a narrative in that regard. When we talk about themes, we can also talk about the emotions that you want to express in your article blog. If it's about nostalgia, if you're remembering something, if it's about friendship, if your literature piece is about social work, if your literature piece is about opinions, or maybe you're outraging against something, so you should take care of that, what theme you're trying to implement. And now let's finally come on to why you should start writing, the benefits of writing. Now, in my personal experience, since I started writing for Road Track, and also I have a blog and I'll be writing for many years on a blog, all of this writing requires research. So when you start researching, your own general knowledge increases. So like earlier, I used to be clueless about a lot of things. When I started researching for my writing, I started learning a lot of things as well, and it's added to my general knowledge. It improved my vocabulary a lot. You have sometimes when you want to make your literature piece sound a bit professional, you start to use synonyms of simple words. So you Google for that. You Google for synonyms. So you start learning new words to improve your vocabulary. Again, when you're constructing sentences and you read your sentence and it appears wrong to you, and then you start correcting it. So you get an idea of how to construct a sentence. When you're writing, you can also do a bit of freelance work, get a bit of exposure. And again, these writing skills and all add to your resume. Organizations and companies look for individuals who are good at writing promotional messages and stuff. So it adds to your resume when you start writing. You can include that in your skills. Okay, so this was basically my present tutorial on the writing process. I thank you all for your patience. But now that I've said all of this, how to implement all this, so let's just write a message here. So let's just write a message here. So today, as it turns out, is World Paper Bag Day. So now I have to write a PR for World Paper Bag Day. So how would I begin? So I'll just Google about World Paper Bag Day. Sorry, that's World Parents Day. Yeah, so July 12th. So I'll just look for articles that talk about facts. So I have this article here by NDTV. I'll just open that. So these are the facts about paper bags that I can use in my PR message. But let's regard one thing in mind, where when you're promoting your PR message for paper bags, you're promoting it against plastic bags. So we should keep in mind that we have to put an alarming statistic about plastic bags. So let's search for plastic bag statistics. Okay, let's see. 10 facts about single-use plastics. Okay, I can't take my screen. I'll have to move this here. Okay, yeah, so I'm reading and I have to find a clickbait type of statistic that immediately attract attention. So like this year, 1 lakh marine animals are killed by plastic bags annually. So this kind of statement, this kind of statistic is very intriguing. People are immediately, get intrigued by this. Okay, so plastic bags are real. So we can use this in our PR message. So I'll just copy this. And I'll open my WhatsApp on my desktop because I'm having issues with pairing my phone screen on my laptop. So I'll just write it here itself. So let's see, I'll write a chat to myself. So I can just paste it here. And now I'll just use some emojis. Let's say a concerning emoji. So let's see. So this looks like a concerned emoji. So I've used that. Okay, let's move on. Okay, this is the problem with WhatsApp, writing on WhatsApp. Now, the thing is, I was going to demonstrate how to write a PR message here, but it's not possible on WhatsApp. But you get the point. Of how we are trying to write a PR message. I'll just explain the process here. I've chosen kind of an alarming statistic. Then I will set up the message. While setting up the message, what I'll do, one minute. Yeah, okay. So while setting up the message, I have to talk about paper bags. I have to set up the message first. So maybe I'll write something like paper bags are environment friendly alternative to harmful plastic bags. So Paper Bag Day is celebrated worldwide on July 12th. The day aims to spread awareness about using paper bags instead of plastic to help reduce plastic waste, which takes thousands of years to decompose. So I've set up my PR message in that format. Then I've written up, so then maybe I would begin with my organization name, Rotary Club of New Bombay, presents to you some paperback facts because it's an awareness initiative. So then I would list the facts and the advantages of using paper bags. The paper bags are almost 100% recyclable and they can decompose just within a month. I state a bit of facts. And then maybe while concluding my message, I can write something like to promote and encourage the reader. I'll say, so on this World Paper Bag Day, let us take the pledge to completely boycott single-use plastic bags and save our planet and wildlife by adopting the eco-friendly option of paper bags. Regards, Rotary Club of New Bombay. So this is how I would structure my message if I was writing today on National Paperback Day. So, okay. So this was it from my side, people. Thank you for your patience. I know you must be a bit bored of me just blabbering about, but I've tried to keep it as intriguing as possible. So let's just go through a summary once of what I was talking about. Comprehensive editorial process for writing a promotional and PR message. Again, like types of messages, how to construct, do a bit of research, follow aesthetics, keep your PR message precise and simple, take care of the tone of your message, and your PR message should have the 3 C's. It should be concise, clear, and correct. Again, then we move on to tools, tricks, and shortcuts that you can use. So where to type and edit, like I said, the best is WhatsApp. Editing also, tackling platform errors, like I said, how you can tackle the Google keyboard or crash error or lag error, or how you can, when you write a PR message, how you can use it to suit different platforms. Like if you're writing WhatsApp, how would you see it for Instagram and Twitter as well? Proofreading, again, very important. When we're talking about flexibility, your PR message should be flexible for multiple platforms. When we're writing for WhatsApp, we should be able to lift some of it and copy it for Instagram and Twitter. So structure it in that way. And what to avoid, we've talked about that. We've talked about avoiding tense inconsistencies. We've talked about avoiding controversial statements. We've talked about avoiding improper punctuation. And we've talked about avoiding sarcasm or passive aggressive statements. When we're discussing writing blogs, articles, and other type of editorial content, have a goal for your piece. We've talked about the classification. We've talked about keeping a structure. We've talked a bit about sentence construction. We've talked about themes to implement, and the benefits of writing, as you just heard a few minutes ago. So that was it from my side. I thank you all for listening. And now I will ask Retractor Amay Avnish to take over. That was it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sanjay.
Thank you so much, Sanjay. That was so informative. And I hope you guys are ready, because our knowledge giving session has not ended yet. And now we will move on to Retractor Amay. And I am so proud of him, of what all he has accomplished so far. So without any further ado, I would like to call upon Retractor Amay Avinash.
Thank you so much, Retractor Isha Trivedi and Retractor Sanchet. By the way, my name is Retractor Amay Avnish, and I'm the creative director for 2020 and 2021. And I'll be sharing you few tips and tricks how to make your JPEG look easy. I request the host to enable the screen sharing so that I can share my screen and let everyone know. I hope everyone's audible. I'm audible to everyone. If anyone can thumbs up or react to this, that would be great. So I'll start with the screen sharing.
Go ahead. All the best.
Thank you so much. So coming on to Aatmanirbhar BOD, we had this plan only for BODs, but we further realized the potential of it. Sometimes words just don't cut in, right? You need striking visuals to drive a point home or make your peak curiosity or add anticipation of an event or your promotional project that is coming up. However, creating your own JPEG or a promotional flyer, that is the right term to it, can be a bit overwhelming, especially if you're not a designer. So where do you begin with? Luckily, you have a lot of templates and you have a lot of websites, and I'm going to use one of these websites and applications called Canva, which makes it very easy for laymen and for everyone beginning out there to create a JPEG. So let me start. So the first and foremost thing that I'm going to tell you is how I'm going to define all of the things that we are going to do. I have divided my presentation into three parts. That is the prerequisites for the JPEG, the pointers while making a JPEG, and finalizing the JPEG. So these are the three things. And after this, I'll do a quick session of you and me together simultaneously making a JPEG, as Protractor Sanchit already told us that today is World Paperback Day. And what better than this chance to make a World Paperback Day promotional flyer with you and with me together. So I'll start with the prerequisites for the JPEG. So I hope everything is visible to everyone. The first and foremost step is making a list of things that are required in the JPEG. Brainstorming the content. While I say brainstorming the content, it is very necessary for you to realize what are the important aspects of your JPEG. So the foremost thing is for your JPEG, the goal of your JPEG is to determine what it is for. And once you know what your goal is, you further have a framework in your mind how to create a JPEG of that sort. So while I'm telling you brainstorm the content, I emphasize that scratch out some ideas for verbiage, but don't worry about dropping them into a template just yet, because you'll be able to organize that along the graphics so that it looks clean and neat. You won't have to rush into things to get it done. So a final JPEG that you see is a result of a number of trial and error methods. There's nothing called as a right JPEG or a wrong JPEG. It's all up to you, and it's all up to the number of trial and error methods that you do, and finally decide what is good for you and what is not. So further, I'm going to emphasize on the point that there's nothing called as a right JPEG or a wrong JPEG. So there are a number of trial and error methods that you're required to do, and you'll be getting through these number of trial and error methods, and then finally getting the JPEG that you wanted. So pointers keeping in mind while you create a JPEG. First and foremost thing that is very important is choosing the right aesthetic for creating a poster. So when I am creating a particular JPEG, it is very important for me to have the right aesthetic in mind. I cannot go for something that's very bright, vibrant, out there in my face, in your face, when I'm creating a JPEG for a formal event. Likewise, I cannot go with something that's very subtle, subdued, when I'm creating a JPEG for something that's meant to be for children. So while I'm creating a JPEG, it's very necessary that I have the right aesthetic and right aesthetic in my mind to create it, or create the poster. So the second point is to determine your poster format. While I say determine your poster format, it is very necessary that we realize what our poster is for. So it is a poster or a JPEG that is supposed to go on an Instagram post or an Instagram story or a WhatsApp forward, has different sizes respective of whatever platform it is supposed to go. So I cannot post a WhatsApp an Instagram story on an Instagram post and think that none of the important part or the relevant part in my JPEG would be cut. So if I want to decide whatever it is, and if I'm going to make one, it is very necessary for me to decide the poster format. And while I say deciding the poster format, there are pixel ratios and the sizes that come. So for Instagram stories, we have a standard size of 1080 into 1920 pixel ratio. While we are talking about Instagram post, it is 1080 into 1080, which is a square format. When we are talking about, suppose a grid of say Instagram, or that is to be posted on Instagram, which is a 3:1 grid. So my ratio does go in the ratio of 3:1, and that is 1080 in height and 3240 in width. So you need to play with the ratios. You need to realize what ratio is important for your poster. coming on to the next point, that is again brainstorming the content. And I hereby brainstorming the content mean now we have already the words written down that is given to us by the PR. Now we already have what is important for us, the relevant details that our posters need to have, and the non-relevant taglines that can be skipped, or maybe they can add an advantage or can be used as a factor of uniqueness in your poster. So this is what brainstorming the content here means. Well, I jot down the points that are required in my JPEG and narrow it down to all the important details. So my logo goes in, my heading goes in, the subtitle goes in, the date and time of, or the venue of the project. If there's a promotional project about some event, that goes in. All of these small factors are very important because the ultimate goal is to create awareness among the people and be visually pleasing to them as well. Next comes pick a suitable template. So this step is where the real fun begins. Okay, so scroll through the predetermined templates. There are thousands and thousands of templates that you can get online. And when I'm saying thousands and thousands, I'm quite underestimating what is there available on the internet. So on Canva, there are quite a number of templates that are available. You can choose one of those templates that go with whatever you wanted, or for example, remember that template should always suit the occasion. Okay, so when I'm making a poster or a JPEG for a children's event, it should be fun, bright, colorful, cheerful. Whereas a flyer or a promotional uh, flyer, a JPEG, advertising something that's professional, advertising, for example, a conference, will be more elegant and subdued. So you can find all of these templates available for seasonal occasions as well on Canva. And either you can choose these templates as it is, or either you can choose these templates to get inspired by. And when I am saying when you choose these templates as it is, it does not mean that you have to stick to whatever is given in the template. You can alter with everything that is available on the template. Remember that whichever template you choose, every aspect can be changed to suit your needs. You can swap the background, the graphics, the colors, or text boxes, or to accommodate a number of text or images. You can do a lot of things on it. And when I'm saying a lot of things, I legit am underestimating the power of Canva. So when coming on to the next point, that is using a color to grab attention. Once you have chosen a suitable template and you have started experimenting with all the elements, you can legit start experimenting with the colors to make your poster really stand out. When I'm talking about colors, colors, picking for the right template and to grab attention, I'm going to further emphasize and I'm going to show what colors evoke certain emotions in you. And colors carry a wealth of meaning into them. And if you prefer minimalistic images and minimalistic design, using a color is a very good way to convey your message with less clutter. So you don't want to put in a lot of, lot of elements and make your template look like a khichdi. Rather, you want to keep it very simple and have small elements towards in it, and then play with the colors. Coming on to the last point of this step while we are making the JPEG is choosing the graphics and the typography. So it is very important that we choose the right graphics and the typography. Like whenever you're using photographs, imagery and font, they have a feat that we need to tackle with. So first, place your text. This is your bread and butter, because without it, no one will understand what your message is. Keep the main message in a place of prominence. If you're not sure where you have to begin with, try to place it in the center and play with the other subdued text messages, across the JPEG screen, across your Canva board. And then varying fonts can also be a very powerful way to get the attention. as contrasting flowy script with blocky lettering grabs the attention most of the time. Now coming on to the colors and the emotions that they evoke, I have a small presentation that I would like to give on all the colors and the emotions that they evoke. Before that, I'll, give a gist about it. That is bright, bold reds and yellows, draw attention and energize your image. Cooler blues, purples, greens bring stability, calm, professionalism, and even elegance. Dark white and black background create a contrast in such a fantastic way to captivate and convey sophistication that choosing your color palette carefully, selecting colors that complement one another and fitting the occasion and the purpose of your material becomes an experiment. It becomes a trial and error method that we have mentioned before. So the colors, coming on to the colors, I hope everyone is able to see it. So the white colors usually, they bring in a sense of purity, freshness, innocence. It's often associated with cleanliness, simplicity, perfection, and it evokes a feeling of hope and clarity. It is often, associated with peace. So whenever we are talking about peace, we usually go with the white dove, for example. Coming on to the next color, that is black. It is used to, represent power, dominance, authority. Usually the lighter gray tones can be used to add a tinge of mystery in your JPEG. Coming on to the next color, that is blue. So usually what we have a perspective and what we have a perception that blue is a very vibrant, bright color and it evokes a feeling of happiness. But on contrary, if you're using a darker shade of blue, it can create a feeling of soreness, sadness, and aloofness, while as the lighter shades can be used to create something that's very calming, soothing, and has a serene effect towards it. Next color is green. So green is usually associated with creating a feeling of success, tranquility, growth, and health, while creating, while the lighter tones create a feeling of abundance, relaxation, and healing. Most often we come across all these Ayurveda products that are usually go with, green color. Why is that so? It is because they want us to have the impression that they are healing, they are relaxing us, they're soothing us, they're helping us. The next color is brown. So the darker tones in brown color create a feeling of reliability, honesty, and stability, whereas the lighter shades evoke a feeling of warmth, friendliness, and loyalty. Next color is purple. Purple usually, goes with luxury, wealth, vibrancy, the darker tones, whereas the lighter tones of purple, that is lavender, usually goes with a relaxed feeling. So when you're looking forward for a nice summer vacation, you tend to look for something that's, pastel purple, lavender, instead of going with something that's in your face red. Coming on to the next and in your face red, we have the final color, that's red. So the darker tones of red are used to, create a feeling of love, passion, energy, attention. So all my red colors are out there for seeking all the right sort of attention. So if I want to grab, if I have a text of black, background of black, and I want to grab people's attention, I'll use a brighter, vibrant tone of red to grab the right attention. And, it has a very scientific proving towards it. It has the shortest wavelength. That is why it is most eye grabbing. And the, lighter tones of pink usually create the feeling of sensitivity, compassion, and fun. So this was all about the colors. Now, you obviously need to have stock images. So I have written down a number of websites where you can download high quality stock images, because at Rotaract Club, we do not compromise with the quality, and we do not compromise with the pixel ratio. So if you guys want, you can, just click a picture of all these websites that's written, or have a quick note. I'll pause for a few seconds here, so that because we are already running short of time and I have a lot of things to tell you. So I'll just give you 2 seconds to grab your pens and grab your mobile phones to click a picture, or maybe take a screenshot if you're already on your mobile phone. I hope everyone's done that. Now I'll go to the final step, that's decluttering. So clean up the clutter. It's the most important step of all. So when we are creating a Canva board, we get a number of elements. We have a number of things to play with, to experiment with. And usually what we tend to do is, like a good Indian person, and my fellow Nigerians will also realize and have the same human instinct of hoarding everything that we can. So we have a tendency of, clicking on all the elements, thinking all the right sorts of elements to go with, and end up with a huge clutter of whatever is not really necessary on our Canva board. So what we call this is a mood board. Okay. So you have a mood board of a number of things that is available to you, and you have selected all the number of things that you think go with your aesthetic and that you think go with your JPEG or your mood. And now that you have your mood board set right in front of you, you can drag and drop the right amount of elements, a two or three, not more than that, to grab the right attention, to have some points of uniqueness while you're choosing your elements. I tend to generally, get inclined towards few elements that are not being used before, that I have never come across in any of the other JPEGs that I come across on the internet, because internet is such a vast place to have such a nice sources of inspiration all the time. You have Pinterest, you have Instagram, you have Tumblr, you have Pixar, Pixar, you have a number of things. So all of this can, clutter up your events. Likewise, here on my screen, somebody has also cluttered up. So, decluttering is also a very necessary step, so that you have all the right attention on your essential elements, and cannot, because too many cooks spoil a broth. Likewise, too many elements spoil your JPEG. So this was all my clean up the clutter thing. Now I hope everyone have downloaded Canva, or maybe is using Canva application on their phone. So we'll go with making a small JPEG, a very quick JPEG. I request everyone to open your Canva screens. I likewise have my Canva on my phone as well. You can see here, and on my laptop screen as well. So you can see Canva on my phone screen, and you can see Canva on the screen that I have shared on the laptop. So I request everyone to, keep Zoom back, let the Zoom app play in your background while I narrate you navigate you through Canva board and the Canva user interface, and tell you how to create a Canva JPEG. So here I'm creating an Instagram story, since Rotractor Sanchit already told us about today's importance. Today is World Paper Bag Day. What better day than celebrating paper bags than today? So I'll make an Instagram story. I'll request everyone to follow my lead, make an Instagram story with their elements, with whatever they feel aesthetic, while I navigate you through the Canva tools and application. And request everyone to post it on our Instagram, to post it on your stories and tag our Rotrack Club, that is RC New Bombay, and also to forward us on our WhatsApp group that has already been there. So this is my Canva board, and this is your untitled design yet. So I'll quickly name this as paper bag day design. You don't have to do this if you are on your phones, because it becomes cumbersome. So on my left hand side and on your bottom of the screen, if you're using your mobile phone applications, on your bottom hand side of the screen is the number of tools, whereas I have it on my left hand side if someone's using it from their desktops or the laptops. The first application tool that I see is a template. So what are templates? Templates are predefined story designs. Yes.
Amay, I think you haven't shared the Canva wala screen. So just do that, no?
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Is it visible now?
No. I can still see the Aatmanirbhar wale. I think while sharing content, you have to share all rather than just one screen. Yeah, perfect.
Good. Okay. So on my left-hand side, sorry by not realizing that mistake. And on my left-hand side, I have all the tools, whereas on the bottom of the screen of your mobile phones, you have all the tools. So left-hand side, I have the first tool that's called the templates. Templates are the predefined stories and the predefined designs that you can take an inspiration from, or you can use it as it is if you're looking for something that you really want to, and if it is going with your mood and your aesthetic. So here I'm going to get inspired by one of these templates rather than using it as it is. Next, we have uploads. So uploads is basically, uploading a given picture on your mobile phone, or like from your laptop to your desktop screen, or maybe, whatever is in your gallery on your phone to your Canva board screen. Next, we have photos. So photos are the pre-loaded pictures on Canva that has been given to you by Canva. So there are two types of pictures here, two types of photos here. One's free, the other one's only for pro. So I'm using a free Canva application. I hope most of you are also using the free Canva application. So here I have a number of free pictures and photos to take inspiration from, or to maybe use directly as it is. The difference between upload and photos is only that uploads is more personal. So it helps me, upload all my personal gallery pictures that I already have, or maybe have downloaded it from some other source that we have already discussed. So you can upload all of those images, high quality images, and put it if you cannot find it here in photos. Then coming on to the next part, that is elements. Elements is basically is divided into parts and in your phone screen. So you can see shapes, illustrations, stickers. All of these come into your elements category on your laptop screen. So elements are basically small designs, small stickers that create GIFs. So basically GIFs are your dynamic JPEGs brought to life. So you can bring your JPEG to life like you like it, and have a point of uniqueness when you're doing so. Next, we have text, and we have a number of text to choose from. So there are already combinations that are used. Like I told you before, my final point was, choosing the right typography and the right imagery. Here from these font combinations, I can choose the right typography. Most of these combinations, as you can see, I have a flowy text and have a bold lettery towards it, so that it creates a perfect combination and does not, grab all the wrong attention towards it. I have a music tool on my laptop screen, but you may not have it on your mobile phone application. That's the only difference that we have in a Canva website and the Canva application that we are using on phone. Next, we have here is videos. So videos are these preloaded videos that can be used, and they have a tinge of, uh, they have a point of uniqueness towards it. So if you're looking for something that goes with the nature, if you're looking for something that goes with people, if you're looking for something that goes with flowers or rains, so if any of that sort you're looking for, you can use one of these images. Maybe you can use it in your background as the background of the JPEG, or maybe you can use it in the forefront and as a small video clip that continues on playing. We again have a background. So here in the background thing, we can use a number of predetermined text. So I'm going to use one of these because today we are going to make a paper bag effect. So I'll, go with something that has a paper effect towards it. I'll search backgrounds, I'll put paper in it and look if I have something. So I've here found out a brown colored paper bag, which if you look in your images or in your mobile phone applications, you can see, you can download it from different applications, maybe Pinterest or maybe Instagram, or maybe, click a picture if you have something of that sort and then upload it. So I'm going to here use this background image on my JPEG. So I have a crumpled paperback aesthetic already. Now I'm going to put in, I'm going to search for elements that go with my paperback look. So I'm going to search. So it's very easy when you use the laptop application, because you can easily search for things. Whereas on your mobile phones, you'll have to scroll a little bit. But while scrolling, it is a very nice tool if you don't have anything on your mind. If you don't have a predetermined set, you can usually get inspired by looking at a number of stuff that is available on the elements when you're scrolling through them. So I'm going to use a paper bag element here. So I have searched for a few things. So all these that have crown image are not free for me. So as I can see, there are a number of paperbacks which are not available. So instead, that makes me, that gives me a confirmation that I shouldn't be looking for the keyword paperback, but rather something else. Maybe I should look for word bag instead of just paperback. So I have a number of few free things that I can use. So I'm going to use this one, which has already a nice recycling, logo on it, and play with it. Maybe I'll try to flip it and see if it looks good. I've flipped it. It looks a bit disoriented to me, so I'll flip it back. See, oh, this is the number of trial and error methods that you go with it. So, searching for the right keyword is a very important task here. It plays a very important role. Since I already have a few elements here, you can play with a number of other elements also if you want to look for something that, shows a recycle logo, maybe try for that, or you can go with anything else. So instead of going with the recycle logo again, I'll use this um, circle recycle thing. I place it in my center, and with Canva, it becomes very easy to place in with center. I'll put this thing in the background, in the back and not in the forefront. I'll decrease my size of the paper bag that's already here, and I'll play with the color that's already here. So now that I have a color on my paper bag thing, and it has a recycle logo, it has a green color. So instead of, going with some different green color, I can use directly in that gray color that I have come across. So instead of using this gray color, I can come up with this green color. All of these colors, as you can see, is predetermined by a number of code. And if you want to search for that code directly, you can put in a hashtag. For this color, it is 629372. So you can directly put in hashtag 629372, and the color will pop on your screen. So this is how Canva makes it very easy for you, for a beginner to begin with, and you don't have to go with all the tasks of masking, unmasking that you go on Photoshop. All the people who use Photoshop will be understanding me, and the pains that they go through, I understand. So now I have in the background the paperback, background, the crumbly paper look. That crumbly paper look is kind of overpowering my forefront. So I'll try to play with the transparency. So transparency is nothing but the opacity of your image. So with the opacity of your image, you can, try to highlight the image, put the background more subdued and play with it. So I already have a subdued background. I already have a paperback front. I'll try to play with the filters that are available to me, or maybe adjust with the contrast. So I'll try to make it a bit dark, more saturated in a way, so that my forefront is highlighted and not my background. And once you're done this, it's a number of trial and error methods. So you can go with whatever you want to. Now that all of this is done, I go with the next tool that is called text. So I add in the right text font that I want to. I'll add a heading and then choose it. So today is paperback day. So we'll just write paperback day and not anything else. So this paperback day should have, a bit of a formal look and shouldn't be a lot of flowy. So I'll go with this paperback, and then I'll try to choose one particular text that is, I'll select all my text. I'll, play with the text which goes best. So there's Rubik Mono. That's kind of a solid text here, but it is not appealing to me right now. So I'll go with something else that is JetBrains Mono Medium maybe, which goes with my paper bag day, and I have quite come across this logo when this type of font when I see recycle, disclaimers of recycle on recycling bags and stuff. So I'll try to, go with it. I'll try to make it bold so that it catches my attention, it catches everyone's attention. I'll play with the colors. I'll not go with something that's very light and matches with my background. I'll go with something that's dark, yet in the same family of colors, because I don't want to hold on with a lot of things. So now I have my paper bag day logo here. I have my paper bag day text here. Next comes up, and the next and the foremost important point comes is adding your logos. So always and always add your logos. Add your logos in a manner that it is visible to everyone, and it's not camouflaging. So if I use a white logo for this, might not be visible to everyone. So I'll go with the black one. I'll decrease the font size. I'll adjust it, and Canva does such a nice work of helping me out here. Making the alignments already proper. So I have already put in the Club of New Bombay logo. I'll put in the second logo on the right hand side. So why am I putting these logos on the left and right hand side of my screen? Because today we come across phones which have different screen aspect ratios. And when I'm talking about different screen aspect ratios, it becomes very difficult. So at times when I am, putting my logos in the center. So suppose I put in my logo here in the top of the center. So what usually does with a lot of, Android phones is they cut off the screen. So since Instagram does not, cannot have an application customized to all of your phones, since there is a number of variety of Android phones that come across, whereas you have a very limited choice of iOS phones. So in iOS phones, usually you don't face this problem of your screen being cut. Rather, you face it mostly in Android phones. So it is very necessary that you place your logos in such a manner that it is visible to all the phones, and you're catering to a large number of audience here. So you need to take care in mind about all of these people. So now that I have everything in place, I realized I do not have the date, which is very important. So I'll add a subheading towards it. And my subheading is going to be today's date, that is July 12th, 2020. I'll use a font which is similar to my previous font, but is not very up there in front, highlighting all the attention from my previous one. So I here have used Special Elite. You can go with anything that you want to. So I'll place this font of mine below the screen, in such a way that it does not go across with my template. So here I have basic draft of whatever is important for me and whatever I was looking for, and all the elements that I felt was necessary for this image. I tried to keep it very short, and I tried to not, hold with a lot of elements here. So decluttering still is very important for me. Now, while I'm decluttering it necessarily does not mean that I will eliminate my elements, but rather I'll play with the colors, because I realize that the greener background of this logo is not clearly visible to everyone. So I'll choose this color scheme. I'll go with my palette, choose a darker shade in the same family that goes right with it. So I have something that's dark, and it's in my forefront that is that is visible to everyone. Similarly, I'll go change the colors of my paper bag as well. I'll choose the darker tones of the same family here, and I'll stick to them rather than going with different color, rather than trying out something that's different and new. So I already have selected two colors here. Now I'll select the final color. Maybe this time I'll go with something lighter so that it comes in the forefront. So this is how I have it. I'll place my logo, I'll place my text. Now I can see my text is kind of camouflaging. So instead of, putting it over my element, I might, put it below my element, like on the top of my element. And similarly, shift my elements a little bit lower so that all of my text is visible and my screen space is also being taken care of. It does not look very spacey to me, and it does not look like there's nothing here. So this is how you are ready with your JPEG. You can add a little bit of animation towards it. So you can add a sort of fade animation towards it, which makes your JPEG, dynamic JPEG, static JPEG become dynamic. You can use in a pan animation, you can use in a rise animation, you can use it in a tumble animation. So it goes with the fade one because it's something that's very simple, sophisticated. And this is how you're ready, good to go. Download it any format that you want. You can download it in JPEG, PNG, which is a very high quality image, JPEG, which is a very small size image. So if you want to try, forward it on your WhatsApp, you can use a JPEG. If you want to post it somewhere, try going for a PNG. If you want to give it in, add it into your documents, go with the PDF standard. If you want to get it print, supply the flyers, pass it on to people in life. So you can get it printed in a PDF print format. You can always have, if you have added animation, you can always have it in MP4 video format or a GIF video format. So this is how you're done. And this is how you download it and you're good to go. So I hope I covered all the points, and I'm sorry that I had to rush a little bit. So I really appreciate everyone for the patience that they have and for bearing up with me all this while. So if you have any doubts, please do let us know in the chat box. I'll try to, wind the whole session up within like 7:15 and, cover up a few doubts. Isha, shall I end the screen sharing now? Isha, are you there?
Hi, Aman. Yeah. Hey, guys. Now that we are done with this, Aman, you can stop the screen sharing. Or no, keep it open because some people have questions and it would be very nice if we address them. Great. So let's go one at a time. I'll just ask the question, Aman, and you can answer it for them.
Sure.
So one of the most recent questions that we have is from Shubham Chauhan, and he asks, how can you make elements like this ready-made paper bag so you can change colors and use it in any post you want to make?
So first of all, good evening, Rotractor Shubham. So now that you have told me like how can I use a predetermined element, right, and change it and alter it. So I already have this preloaded determined paperback here, which I searched it on my elements toolbar and then came across. So now that I have pasted it on my Canva board, I can see the number of colors that are available in this particular paperback element, and I can alter these paper colors, all these document colors that I have had. So instead of having green color, suppose you want to go with something that's blue, maybe you want to show something that's related to water. So I'll, go with blue color or stick to any color that you want to. And maybe you want a brighter shade of green. So you can go with a brighter shade of green. And when, you're selecting the element and you enlarge it. So, am I audible? So yeah, so when you're, playing with the element size, it usually shows a maximum of 340. So when I'm having a text, so my slider bar shows a maximum of 144 here, and on your phone applications, it shows a maximum of 340. But instead of using these slider options, I can also take an edge, take a corner and then drag it to all the size that I want. So I can enlarge it, I can make it smaller and play with the size. So you get a variety of sizes instead of just the predetermined slides here. So this is how you can play with the elements. You can alter the elements. You can use it anywhere you want to. Suppose you want to make you want to create an awareness program for something else, for a recycle day, World Environment Day, and you have the use of you thought that this paper bag would be useful. You can just copy from this image if you have already stored here, and then paste it on whatever. So I'll show you, I'll demonstrate that to you as well. I made another, I'll quickly make another Canva element, Canva board here. And now I have a blank screen. I've just pasted it here. So I'll copy it from here. I'll copy this thing. I'll paste it on my board here. So I already have it here. I used Command C and Command V here, Control C and Control V. So you can, alter your elements. You can use the elements that you have already pre-used in some of the other JPEGs that you have already created in the past. So are there any other questions? I hope I answered all your aspects of the question. Isha, you're mute.
Hello. Now can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. So I think a lot of people have this question that what all elements are available on your phone and on your desktop.
So
how about you address that?
Yeah, so all the elements that are available on my phone are basically available on my desktop as well. It just becomes a bit easier for me, to navigate through these elements on my desktop rather than, scrolling through the elements on my phone. So I'll demonstrate you quickly, like I'll scroll through quickly what are the elements that are available. So you have grids, shapes, frames, stickers, charts, gradients, lines, and you also have current relevant elements that are trending across the world. So you have coronavirus, that's very much trending across right now. You have bold foliage, you have zodiac symbols, which I hope everyone's related to. And then you have, simple line drawn objects. You have camping, rusting, or rustic drawings. The point is, all of these elements are not categorized on your phone, but they are categorized on your laptop. So when you're using it on your phone, so I'll quickly demonstrate, I'll quickly show you how it looks in your phone when you're showing it. So I have my Canva open, and I've made a quick, I've chosen the Instagram format. I hope my phone screen is visible. And I'll come across shapes. So in shapes, you can see all the patterns, all the shape designs that are available to me. All the patterns.
Amay, just a second. So all those who are asking about the elements that you are unable to see in your phone, so he is showing it to you, Shivam and Anna Mary. So we aren't able to check the elements on phone screen. Yes, you will be able to see it. It's just that the way it's visible here is not visible on your screen because of the low space. So you will have to know the right keywords and what to search for to know. As you can see, Amay's screen, if you can see, he's holding on to his phone, and you can see how in the search bar you can enter the element and see.
So like Dr. Isha already mentioned it, that it is very important for us to, choose the right keywords. So I wanted to go with paperback. So I'll put in search for design. So I have a tab called search for design elements. I'll put in paper, I'll put in back. I won't put in paperback because likewise you saw already. Previously, I searched for paperback and I got a limited option. So I'll search for back, and then here you get all these options that you were looking for. And the second option is the one that that I have on my laptop screen as well. So you don't really, have to scroll through the number and tons of options that are available to you. You can use the right keywords and go for it. So choosing the right keyword is very necessary. So if I want to go with something that's sea, so I won't directly, go with a water body. I'll search for something oceans, or maybe a sea, rivers, waves, something of that sort, beaches. All of these small keywords, it's a lot of trial and error method. All of these small keywords will help me, choose the right element for the particular JPEG that I'm creating. And you will have something if you have in mind. So you can always, search for different keywords and then get whatever you want to.
Okay, there's Retractor Yamini, I can see, Yamini Jain. Your hand is raised. If you could please ask the question that you want in the chat box, we will definitely address it. I hope this helps. Okay, so I think the concern that people are having is that they want if to know if they can upload their own pictures into the Canva app and use it. So if you can.
Okay, so I'll demonstrate this thing on my laptop screen as well and on my mobile phone screen as well. So I here have an option of calling which is called as upload. So I here will go choose the option of upload, and here I have upload an image or video. So you can already see all these images that I have downloaded and uploaded it on my um, from my laptop to my Canva board. So I'll quickly upload uh, uh, from a picture from my gallery, which is already there on my desktop. So I have a section which is called photos. So, I'll just quickly go with a photo that's here already. So you can see here, I have uploaded an image, and from that particular image, I can directly drag and, put it on my screen. So this is how you can go with your upload, like you can upload whatever you want to from your home screen, from your gallery to your Canva board. Similarly, on your Canva board, I'll just share my phone screen. So here you have this plus icon on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. So if you select that plus icon, which basically means adding a lot of elements towards it, and the second option that you get, the second block that you get is the tools of images. So here you have all the images that are already there in your gallery, and you can choose one of these images to upload it on the phone, on your Canva board screen. So I here have uploaded a picture from my gallery on my phone screen. So this is how you can, upload anything that you want to from your gallery to your phone screen, to your Canva board as well, from your phone or from your laptop, whatever Canva application you are using and whatever is convenient for you.
Okay, I hope that answers your question, Shubham. We have one more question from Christina. Can we resize a design? According to me, you need a Canva Pro account. Are there any other method for the same? So in this very application, you can't. You do need a Canva Pro, but in any other app, if you need, and if you have a predetermined size in your mind, you can customize that size and begin the design. But I don't think you can do it in Canva Pro.
So even if you don't have a Canva Pro here, or you're not using a Canva Pro, and you're using a predetermined template that's on your screen, so all of these elements that are on my screen are singular elements. So I can select this and drag and drop the element. So instead of resizing the whole thing, you can resize it individually and check whether how you want. I can even crop it. As you can see on my laptop screen, I'm trying to crop in the image of this coronavirus frontline worker. So I have already cropped it, for example. And now I want it to be on the forefront, on the highlight, on the main ground. So I can resize it from the corners. I'll use corners and I'll not use the middle option, because that just distorts my element and reduces the clarity of the image. Also, you can so all of my text is grouped right now. So usually these templates are grouped, so I can always ungroup them and see if I don't want this particular thank you for your service, or maybe I just don't need this San Beneja Hospital. I can just delete it and reorganize my whole screen. And thus you can not exactly recycle, but you can play, you can alter with the templates that are given to you on Canva without even having Canva Pro. So this comes in a handy tip and trick whenever you're using Canva.
Okay, so let's move on to the next question. So there's one question from Retractor Sasha, and she's asking, what about the difference in emojis on, no, how many emojis is too much? Okay, these are all to be addressed by
Retractor Sanchez.
So let's wait for him and first complete all the questions that we have for Protractor Amay. Looking for elements.
I hope all of you have, simultaneously made a JPEG alongside me, and whatever you have made, please do upload it on your Instagram stories, and do not forget to tag us so that we can reshare it on our main page as well. Back to you, Isha. You were asking me a question.
Yeah. So, Amay, there's one question from Retractor Sasha Shinde, RC Thane Midtown. Why is it so important to use high quality images?
Okay. So this is a very necessary and a very important question. So thank you so much, Retractor Sasha, for highlighting this point. So whenever we are talking about the quality of image, if my quality of image is not up to the mark, what happens is if I'm supposed to, upload a grid on my Instagram page. So I'm going to upload a 3x3 grid, which come across as 9 posts on your Instagram. So if my quality isn't sufficient enough to cater that need, the whole singular post will come out to be pixelated. It will not be very clear. It won't be as clear that you see in here. So I might be able to see it on my singular image here to be very clear and neat. But when I put it into grids and when I zoom it into, my images would be very pixelated. It wouldn't be clear. So that is why it is very necessary, to use high quality images and to use right pixel ratios when we are talking about picture format, JPEG format. So the ratios are very important. We always play with the ratio of 1 is, so if I'm supposed to make a ratio of 1:1, that is 1080 pixels into 1080 pixels. Similarly, you can play with a lot of ratios. So if I have to make, a 3x3 grid, I will not make 1080 into 1080, even though it's 3:3 is 1:1 eventually in mathematics. But here we wouldn't be using that ratio. We would stick to 3:3 because if we are using 1:1, it is again going to, pixelate the whole thing whenever we are going to put it into, cut it into smaller parts.
Okay, so we have one question here from Obiora. They are asking, must we be online to use the Canva? Can't we download it and have the app on our laptop?
So when it is very necessary for you to use you have to be online whenever you're using it on your phones or on your laptops. This is important because all of these elements and all of the photos and uploads, whatever you're done, are done on cloud. So they are not preloaded on your desktop or they are not preloaded on the application. So whenever you see the phone application or the laptop application is very light. It's not one of those heavy applications like Photoshop. It's a very light, user-friendly application for everywhere. But all of these elements, all of these text, fonts, music, videos, whatever is preloaded on Canva are loaded on the cloud. So to access them, it is important for you to stay connected through your internet connection, internet network, so that you can have an access to all of these. If you do not have an access to your internet connection, you won't be able to, play with all the, scroll through all the elements that are uploaded here, but you might be able to use a few elements that have been downloaded by you over the period of time while you were using the Canva, maybe online or maybe, in a previous application. So if you have something to upload, you can upload it from the gallery and play with the fonts if you are not connected to the internet.
Okay, so I just had a thank you, dear, from Obiora. That's so sweet. Thanks to you for asking this question.
So we really appreciate you that you're taking out time, and in spite of the time zone difference, you're able to stay with us and attend the whole session.
Yeah, this was. I really appreciate everyone who's asking the question because that shows that you guys really are very curious about this topic. So we have one from Shivam. Can Amay please show the templates and elements once more? So actually, Shivam, we will have some sort of, either we will be uploading this this session on YouTube. So you can re-watch it again. So don't worry about it. And okay, so Sanchit, if you could please unmute yourself. Sanchit.
Yeah, hello. Amay, can you stop sharing your screen, please?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, hey everyone. So just shoot away questions about the editorial writing process. Okay,
So
we actually have one question already from Protractor Shasha Sinde. Thank you, Shasha, for asking this. It's a really nice question. So she is asking, what about the difference in emojis on different platforms? Do we need to take that into consideration while writing PR messages? So yeah, different WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, they all have different emoji sets. Sometimes the emojis don't correspond to each other. I'll show you that with an example how you can do that. So while I was conducting it, I completed my wallpaper day PR. I'll just run through its structure once again while I was writing it. So, like I said, I started with a fact: 100,000 marine animals are killed by plastic bags annually, and I've set it to a bold font so that it acts as clickbait. It's very intriguing. I've used a corresponding concerned emoji, so people are getting intrigued. Okay, so they think, okay, so let's see what this is about. Then I've set up the message how paper bags are an environment friendly alternative to the harmful plastic bags. And Paper Bag Day is celebrated worldwide on July 12th. Then I've used one more statement. The day aims to spread awareness about using paper bags instead of plastic to help reduce plastic waste that takes thousands of years to decompose. And then I've put our Rotary Club name and what we are presenting. So presenting paperback facts and awareness about paperback. So I've listed a facts here. I lifted some of these from the internet. Some of these are written myself from the prior knowledge that I have about paperbacks. Like we all know, plastic bags are uh, you know made using petroleum extracts, while paper bags are made from natural materials. So paper bags help cut down on gas emissions. So I mentioned that point here. And so this was the main body of the message. And while concluding, when you're conclude with a proper message. Like, if so, on this World Paperback Day, let us take the pledge to completely boycott. So I'm writing a proper conclusion here. If it's just to put the regards, it wouldn't. The message will lack impact. So make sure you have a proper introduction. You have a proper setup to the PR message. You have a proper main body. It is neatly structured. I've divided it into neat points. I've used the corresponding emojis for paper bags. I've used these paper bag emojis. For this, I've used this is just for aesthetic, but yeah, a bit of aesthetics, there's proper spacing. So keep that in mind when writing a PR message. Okay, so now, Sasha, to answer a question now, I'll just take this message here and I'll copy it.
Sanchit, I don't think you're sharing your screen.
Okay, I'm so sorry for that. Wait, let me just share my screen.
That's totally fine.
It's coming here that host disabled participant screen sharing. So can someone enable screen sharing for me?
And you can share your screen now.
Yeah, okay. So you guys can see my screen, right? Okay, so yeah, so this was I'll have to talk about it again. I apologize for that. This was the PR message I wrote while I was taking his tutorial. I'll just explain it in short. I started with something intriguing. I set it up. I use our organization name. I am talking about what the PR is about, paperback facts and paperback awareness. I listed a bit of facts in a proper order. It's keeping it aesthetic, and I used the proper conclusion here. So to answer the question now, Sasha, let's finally answer it. So I'm just copying this message, and now I have to paste. Let's say I try pasting it on Twitter. So I'm opening Twitter. And I'll just select the tweet option. And I'll paste it here. Okay, now it shows that all these extra characters are here. We can't use this because Twitter doesn't allow more than 240 characters. So what we can do is we can edit a lot of this stuff out. Let's say we edit this out. We don't need to announce our organization because we're already using it in regards. Now this statement is important because we are pledging to use paper bag. So I'll just cut this I will just cut this sentence. And again, this, because this is just the copy details. Okay, so yeah, so this now I've brought it in Twitter format. I can again it's showing that I don't need this, so I can just edit it out and I can write our organization's name in short. And now it's meeting the Twitter character limit. So again, like I've got an intriguing title, an intriguing introduction that this many animals are killed by plastic bags annually. So on this World Paperback Day, let us take the pledge to completely boycott. And when you see, when I copied the message, I used this concerned emoji and it automatically got translated to the Twitter emoji set. Again, this emoji here. So usually now that now all platforms have a vast emoji set, and they pretty much link every emoji properly to other platforms emoji as well. Sometimes errors may occur, you might get the square, so you'll just have to delete that emoji and use another corresponding emoji. I'll again demonstrate this on say Instagram. I'll just open my Instagram. Okay, I don't think we can upload a post from Instagram web. Okay, but we get the idea. Okay, so I think I've answered your question, Dr. Sasha.
I hope that was helpful, Sasha. And so let's move on to Retractor Shreya Hongekar, our club vice president, because I don't see any more questions here. So Shreya, over to you.
Thank you, everyone. That was my time.
Okay, guys, I would like to add that if you have made anything, all the PR and all the JPEG activity that was told to you, please put it in the groups that we have created on WhatsApp, and also post it on your social media and tag us. Our Instagram handle is RC New Bombay, and do, if in case you could, please DM us all your screenshots of you posting. We would really love to showcase all of your talent. I will be adding the Instagram handle and the hashtag in the chat box right now. Please take note of it and do it. We would really love it if you guys did it.
Yes, Shreya, you can talk.
Hello, guys. This is Retractor Shreya Hongekar, Vice President 2021 of Retract Club of New Bombay. Thank you each and everyone to show so much love and support for the session. Thanks Retractor Sanchit and Retractor Amay for giving such an informative session to each one of us present here. Uh, yeah, we would love to end the session now.
Thank you, everyone. The love and support that I'm seeing in the chat box is amazing. Thank you. It was great that you all took the time. Thanks a lot, guys. It was helpful. Thank you, Sasha. You were one of the first people to ask the question, and I was very, very happy to answer it. So, thank you for being here. Kenaz Khan, I see your hand is raised. Is there any question that you want to ask, or is there something you want to say? Okay, it was by mistake. That's totally fine. So before we end the session, I would like to add that we are having a similar informative session that we will be doing for throughout this month, which is Tech Tuesday. And as the name suggests, it will happen every Tuesday. And every Tuesday, we will be tackling one topic, be it how to make Google Forms, how to make creatives on Filmora app, and many other such topics. And the good part of it is you guys get to decide what you want to choose, because in the form option, you get to choose what you want to learn, and the majority is the one that we will be taking for you guys. So I hope you like this initiative, Tech Tuesday. It will be posted in the Aatmanirbhar BOD group that you guys are part of. So thank you very much for being here. It was a pleasure to be your host. Bye.